There was a time in my life where my relationship was failing with my first wife. I fell out with my mom, and everybody that I knew thought I was crazy. With good reason. My behaviors and actions could only allow them to believe that about me. I was unfaithful. I was broke. And I was broken. But I made the change. In today's video, we're going to talk about just that. If you're wondering, if you're stuck, if you're in a place where you just don't know what to do, but you know you need to make a change, and you're wondering, how do I change? Welcome to I Love Living. I am living. And we're going to talk about how to change. But before you go doing anything, before you do anything, before you even pray, you got to ask yourself this question. You have to ask yourself, is my mindset fixed or do I have a growth mindset? So what is a growth mindset? It's the belief that your intelligence, skills, and abilities can be developed over time through your effort, your dedication, and learning from your mistakes. Well, then, of course, the inverse of that is the belief that your intelligence, skills, and abilities are static, inborn traits that cannot be changed, leading you to avoid challenges and fear of failure. If you do have a growth mindset, then allow it to be reawakened, and the kingdom from within will guide you all the way. But if you do have a fixed mindset, then your first step is mastering the art of not giving a fuck. But why? That sounds kind of disrespectful and rude. Not at all. Because the reason you're like that is because you're lacking one thing: confidence. Because you're in fear of what they may say. You're in fear of failing. You're in fear of looking stupid. You're in fear of anything that's external. That's why your mind is fixed. You have taken on the beliefs of those who aren't going anywhere. But where do you start? All right, buddy, you need some small wins. Everybody could use some small wins. We're not trying to eat the whole elephant in one bite. So we got to start with some small wins. How do we get to small wins? Everything begins in the mind. I know I'm pointing to my brain, my skull. The mind is not here. The mind is everywhere. But everything begins in the mind. So you have to self-educate. After you're done praying, meditating, doing whatever it is you do, being quiet in a dark place, whatever you do to calm yourself down to where you can think about what it is you need to do, the task you need to get done. Self-educate. I'm talking reading books, listening to audiobooks. YouTube videos are great for visual and learning, okay? You got all these AIs you can learn from. Self-educate. And I'm not going to tell you what to educate yourself on because you're being led by your inner spirit. You'll begin to have these, not coincidences, because they're too on point and too frequent. We're talking about synchronicities. You'll begin having lots and lots of synchronicities, sort of like breadcrumbs, to guide you, to lead you, to let you know you're going the right way. Repeating numbers, these type of things. And this will lead you to take action. So far, if you have a fixed mindset, you have to learn how not to give a fuck. by getting confidence. And we're starting with small wins by self-educating, then taking action. And then the last thing is to stay consistent. But how do we stay consistent? How do we continually be consistent getting small wins? We have to set ourselves up for these things. And a good way to build consistency is by having a routine. Having a routine that you can do every single day. It might be hard at first. It might be because you're motivated or you're inspired to do it at first. But this is not about motivation or inspiration. This is about discipline. Discipline leads to consistency, which leads to confidence. Confidence is one of the most underrated things I think we have in society today. Some people would call a confident man toxic, arrogant, conceited. I'm not talking about ego confidence. I'm talking about the confidence that comes from within, that builds your community, that builds your consistency, that grows your confidence. You can do a lot with confidence. Confidence will lead you to go on those interviews. Confidence will lead you to be able to speak about what you've learned and share with others. Confidence will have you sure that you can get up the next day and do that routine. Confidence. That's how we change. By being confident in the love for ourselves. So you basically know how now. You know how to make the change. You got to not care about what everybody else is thinking or doing, not care about failing. You set yourself up for small wins by educating yourself. You might have to go back to school. Ooh, back to school. You might have to read the book written by your boy, Runway to Ascension. You might have to read that. You might have to read The 7 Prisms by Baron Benjamin. That's coming out June 20th, pre-order now. You might have to read to your kids. It's all kinds of things that's going to self-educate. But follow what's inside of you to get there. And by doing these things, you will be consistent in your routines, which builds confidence. And you know, it's only one reason I'm sharing this with you. It's because I love living. And as you can see, I am living. Until next time, thank you for watching. Peace in.